Hello, my friends. It is with great joy and immense pride that I am able to come and speak with you today and applaud you on your new journey to spiritual understanding. I have been witnessing the sessions and have been participating also in the sessions between this medium and Susan, who is the spokesperson for the Council of Igma. And I have been most ecstatically and so happy that this teaching is being put forth to you to share. As you know, I was always one to raise the flag of truth and to wave it proudly and high for everyone to see. So it is in this spirit that I am applauding the fact that you are willing to take on the challenge. And it is definitely a big challenge to change your perceptions of what you have learned in the past and to modify them so that you can proceed in the future with even stronger connections to your own spiritual self and to the oneness that is within the universes and the many universes that are in existence, including the world of spirit, which I used to promote so very much when I walked your plane. So it is an honor that I am here today, and I want to encourage you to be patient with yourself, because it is definitely not an easy process to rechange your thinking. And it is definitely something that will take time. We were a bit apprehensive to bring this information to you today because we were not sure that the medium who was speaking to you was in complete understanding and completely ready to share it with you. But with the assistance of Susan, we were able to do this. And we were happy that it did not proceed further into any type of work of dealing with energy, because this instrument that I'm speaking through still needs more training and training to perceive it correctly. And therefore, we are pleased to have the initial steps taken today. And we wanted to share that with you. So with that being said, we are ready for your first question.
Thank you for being here for us, Carl and friends. We really appreciate it. So the first question is from Christina. I'm wondering what we can do for homework or practice to really learn to connect with and use the energies we feel on this plane of existence at this time, so we can continue to grow and expand.
We say to you, my friend, that all the answers lie within. They are all recorded deeply in your soul. So the question is, the discipline is to shut everything else out, shut out the outside world, shut out the chatter that goes on within the human brain, and enter into the stillness. Ask to merge with your soul energy. Ask for you to be it. And that may not be the correct wording in itself. Just be it. Just relax. Just know that you are soul energy that is having a physical experience. Ask for all the physical experience part, all your senses, all your thinking to subside and relax, and just be into soul energy and let that instruct you, for it will lead you to what you need to know and what you need to do. The journey that you need to take is the journey within. It is not a long journey, but yet for some it is difficult. You also need to understand that not every human being who walks this earth plane is equal physically. For some people are very concentrated in the left part of their brain, the left part that deals with language and thinking and analyzing and mathematics. And if they are a left brain person, it sometimes is difficult for them to shut all that thinking and analytical processing down in order to get into the feeling of being in soul energy. They have a challenge in doing that, but yet their soul has signed up for that contract and they are up to the task and up to that challenge. For people who are right brained and therefore they are better in languages and the arts and expression, it is often easier for them to access soul energy, to get into soul energy. I should not use the word access. It is a process of just being, of getting into being, of shutting down the analytical part and just being. That is what is that you need to do. That is what everyone needs to do, to learn to just be in the energy. Do you understand?
Thank you. The next question is from Mary. My question is, what can be done to help the COVID long haulers? Is there a particular medication or regime they can follow to minimize or resolve their symptoms? Also, should we continue to pray for our white light wall to stop or minimize the negative forces that might cause East Coast flooding? Thank you for all your guidance for us. Peace and love, Mary.
Without trying to be offensive, the question you are asking is coming from a very human perspective. What is there out in the world that I can take to get rid of my symptoms? It is part of the spiritual amnesia that we speak of, where you are forgetting that you are soul energy. You are creator energy. The same energy that created the whole universe is you. Your physical body is surrounded by it. So therefore, you do not need to go to the pharmacy and take a drug off a shelf to ingest in order to get rid of the condition that you are speaking of. You need to access your soul energy. You need to be in that energy, to exist in that energy. And the longer time that you spend in that energy itself will make the body whole again, will make the body well again. It is all there. We cannot stress strongly enough that you are everything. You are divine energy. You are the cure. You are perfect health. You do not need anything additional. You just need to be it, to be in that energy and allow that energy to do its work and to replace all the things that need replacing in order for you to be back into a state of perfect health. As far as that energy wall that you spoke of, it would be helpful to continue to work on that, because it would be a energetic way to put forth a barrier to stop any destruction of that kind. Do you understand?
Thank you. And can you please clarify for us with the COVID long haulers? What if the question is also asking about people who may not have knowledge about the soul and are not knowledgeable about going within to help themselves? Is there a way to help them?
We say to you the best way to help them is to remove the blinders from their eyes and show them the spiritual path to the correct truth. It is something that it may not be well received at first, but whether you send them to someone who practices energy identification, whether you send them to someone who they may have heard of, who can do that kind of work, that may be a start. But the truth is that the healing is within themselves. And in fact, this may be a opportunity for them to explore the fact that the energy lies within them, where they might not have been open to that before, because so many people have been programmed that God exists in some cloud someplace, and you have to send prayers and ask him to intercede, where in actuality, you do not need to look out, you need to look in. So looking for something on a shelf to fix the problem is not an answer. It is to go within. And for those who aren't oriented or think that way, then it's time for them to at least learn that that is a possibility and allow them the opportunity to decide whether they want to seek something within them or from outside of themselves. Do you understand?
Thank you. The next question is from Susan Yu. Spirit, can you tell us about the crystal skulls that were left in the Himalayas for us to discover? Who left them there? Where did they originally come from? Do they, the skulls, have an innate power? I have a dear friend who is the custodian of 2 crystal skulls. Can you relay a message I could pass on to her about them? Thank you so very much, Susan.
The items that you are asking about have been infused with a very special energy. It is an energy that originated not from this world, but from other dimensions and other universes. It is imbued with certain potentials and certain knowledge embedded in it. Human beings have a certain library of information. The information that is contained within those skulls, as you call them, is information that is very much outside of the library. It is information that humans are not quite ready for yet. It is, even if you took them to the most gifted psychic or medium and ask them to hold them and do psychometry on them and get information from holding them, they would not be able to put into words what they were receiving or seeing, because it is totally not understandable for them, because the time is not right for that knowledge to be put forth onto this plane of existence. You have been listening today to a new body of teaching, something that has changed perspective of what you already know. And for someone to understand what is embodied in those skulls, they would have to take what that change that you have experienced today and multiply it times 500 and so forth until it could be deciphered and understood. There will become a time when the human consciousness will have expanded to a point where the library will have received 1,000 new books of 1,000 ideas that have not even occurred to be thought of in your time and place right now. And at that point, the information would be able to be deciphered and understood. At that point in time, these objects will be of great benefit to the furtherment of the evolution of humankind. They were placed here as a time capsule in order for them to be used when the time is right. The time is not yet right to decipher them. I would tell your friend, the custodian, to guard them well, protect them well, and eventually they will become very useful. Do you understand?
Thank you. The next question is from Fenton. My question concerns angels. Do they exist? And if so, what energy dimension do they occupy? I have heard that they have never been in a spiritual or earthly form. Are they assigned to us at birth, guardian angel? And is it possible for us to connect with them?
The concept that you're talking about of angels is a very real being, but they do not have wings. The whole idea of angels having wings was an artist's conception or misconception when the clairvoyant was able to see a person who would be identified as an angel and see the light around them. It seemed to remind them almost of wings, and therefore they told the artist, and that has become your perception of them. Angels are real. They exist. They are beings who have never incarnated into physical form. They have a very high spiritual understanding, and they do assist people in their physical lives, just as many other types of beings, such as people who live in the world of spirit, as you know, and other people who live in other planets and other dimensions also influence people, human beings, when the human being is open enough to receive the communication. Mediumship has been a topic for this organization for many, many years. And in fact, it is through the gifts of mediumship that communication between human beings and beings on other dimensions, including other planets, and including the angelic realms, can take place through the same types of processes, through clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairascensions, through the clairs, through meditation, through opening your mind, through having the intent to sit and blend your energy, your energy to these beings. As was stated very clearly today, you, I, everyone, we all are the same divine oneness energy. Whether you are a physical human being, whether you are a spirit in the spirit world, whether you are an angel in the angel world, whether you are a being living in another planet in another dimension, it is all the same oneness. It is all the same energy. So by learning the technique of being in your energy and blending it with another's, you are setting forth a link in communication, which most likely, or I shouldn't say most likely, which you would term telepathy. Telepathy and clairaudience and clairvoyance are very much linked. They're very similar. So by communicating between minds, between souls, you can contact the people in the angelic realms. You understand?
Thank you. The next question is from Linda A. When we make a choice that takes us off a path that seemed destined for us, is there an equally pertinent path to be found? For example, I had made a choice to relocate out of Massachusetts, and then the COVID pandemic created circumstances that I had lost my home, had no job, and I was forced to go backward to an old friend for help and a place to live. I gave up my destiny, Florida. For 2 years now, I've been living out of the state of Florida in a home that's not comfortable for me, but I am still not financially able to get out on my own. Is there a path for me that is equally satisfying, a path for me that is equally satisfying as the one that I was building in Florida before the pandemic? And are there only certain times in the calendar year when the energy is supportive for change? How is it that we can know when to focus our efforts? Thank you.
We say to you that you are correct. There are certain times where energy of the earth and cycles of the earth are more conducive for human change. But that just means that it is a slight bit more of a smooth sailing situation. It does not mean you have to hold your breath until that particular point in time in order to make the change that you wish. We have been speaking today a lot about divine energy and manifesting with things into your life. That is your birthright. It is not dependent on whether the moon rose in a certain spot or whether it's a certain season or any other condition that takes place in the physical planet. All these people who put their faith and their trust into astrology and into signs like that, they are, in a sense, giving their power away to those signs. Now, that is not to say that there's not some truth into all those philosophies. That's not to say that when you sit and try to manifest a certain change within your life, that it might not be easier at a certain point because of a certain astrological conjunction or something else. It might be easier, but it doesn't prohibit it. It doesn't stop it. You are divine energy. You are powerful. You are a creator energy. You just have to learn to harness that energy in order to make the changes that you want. Often in the human condition, in spiritual amnesia, as we are calling it now, we forget that we are divine beings, and we can manifest what we need in our lives. And therefore, since we forget that, we do not do it. And therefore, time and time again, situations will be magnetized into your life to challenge you to start to learn to do it properly. It's another opportunity for you to learn to manifest, to learn to bring forth what you want in your life. It is a wake-up call trying to shake you out of the spiritual amnesia, back into your divineness, back into the powerful creator that you are, to bring change into your life. So we tell you that what you need to focus on is not what's outside and what's in the stars and what's not in the planets. You need to focus on your divine energy. You need to focus on being in your divine energy. You need to focus on saying and the right words to manifest what you want in your life, and know that that will happen. The knowing this because you are this divine being. And once you are in that energy, and you feel that energy, and you feel the powerfulness of that energy, you will no longer be susceptible to the insecurities of the human condition, where you are seeking things outside of yourself. You will have experienced that power, and you will remember that all you need to do is to access that power, claim it again, and do what you need to do to manifest what you need at the moment. And it will come. It will be manifest, because you are God, you are creator energy, you are in the oneness. So when all that aligns, you will no longer be drawn and think about all these outside forces. Do you understand?
Thank you. The next question is from Rhonda. If the matrix be exposed, broken down, and people's reality shattered, will this be for all or just for some? With the rapid increase in deaths and illness from the vaccines, will the belief in traditional medicine cease as people seek alternative methods of healing? Thank you.
You are correct in your thinking that people have become very questioning to their medical community. They are wondering, because of all the information and disinformation about the disease of which you speak of, they are wondering what the truth is. And it is extremely difficult for any human being to really be able to put all that information through a sift and come up with what really is the truth. This will have a backlash, as everything that you know of, medically, politically, financially, everything is going to be shaken. Everything will be changing. Everything will be in a state of flux. And people will start to understand and learn once again, as was spoken of before, of what you termed alternative medicine, of what you termed as people who are practicing energy for the sake of health. It is something that will become back into the forefront. But what is even more important is the next step. For the next step will be that people will come to the awareness that they are the healed person. They are the healing. They are energy. They are divine energy, and they can be in perfect health once they learn to claim that and be that. It is a journey of many steps. It is not something like a light switch where you're sitting in a dark room and flick a switch and there's suddenly a light. It will not be a change like that at all. It will be a very slow change, but it is one that is coming, for people will learn how to claim their divine energy, be in that energy, and be in perfect health. Do you understand?
Thank you. The next question is from Carol Barna for Carl. Ramtha spoke of inner earth and beings that inhabit this. Will any information on this come to light?
You are living in a time where lots of things are coming into light. You are living in a time where, as was just stated, where things are shifting, where all the truths that people thought were truth are suddenly going to evaporate, and they are going to realize that they were illusions. You are correct that eventually the beings in the inner world will be more known to the people living on the surface of the planet. They will come to understand to form, and I'll use the word alliance or reliance on them, because they will be also the teachers of this new philosophy, for they have understood this for a very long time, and therefore it is something that that it will be happening. The world that you live in is going to go into major changes. Metamorphosis is a better word of what I can use, because it will be a slow, think of it this way. If you ever watched a young child and they are presented with fingerprints and they put their fingers in the paint and they start to move it around and change images and create all kinds of things in pretty colors, that is kind of what is going to happen. There are going to be many, many changes happening, and not all of them will be permanent. Some are very temporary as it goes from A to Z, and there'll be stops along F and M and Q along the way. So there will be lots of different changes happening, and a lot of what I might call turmoil, because many people will not be, as you know, many people do not like change, and these changes will be difficult for many. But for those who have had some education in communicating with the world of spirit, and communicating with your own soul, in learning now how to be in your soul energy, how to claim it, how to be in it, you will discover that you will have a very powerful tool in the days to come that will help you sail through the rough waters. Do you understand?
Thank you. A question from Carol C. about what percentage of Earth's population is, quote, awake. I've heard that 50% is the tipping point. When that point is reached, how will it change our everyday reality? Are most countries more awake than the US?
It may surprise you to learn that many countries that you might consider backward or third world countries in some ways have a much more, they're more awake, as you put it, than people who live in the country of where you are living. because they did not have all the technology, all the advances, all the luxuries that this country had. So they did things in more primitive ways, but yet those primitive ways are a lot more natural than what you have experienced, and therefore you might call them more awake than you might be, not you personally, but your country. You are correct that there will be a tipping point where the enlightened people will no longer stand by silently, and therefore will demand certain change of the people who are not quite there yet. They will no longer go along with the status quo. They will no longer want to continue in the same old, because they understand that and know that the changes are coming. And they also have a concept of where things will end up. They are claiming their divineness slowly, as you people in this group are going to slowly be claiming your divineness. So it is true that, yes, there will be a tipping point. There will be a point where the light will be more vocal and make their viewpoints known much more than they are currently doing. Do you understand?
Thank you. And we have one last question from Rhonda. With what is coming, what advice do you give for us to support those when their foundation and core belief systems, their reality is shattered?
My friend, the best way to help someone that you are describing is to speak their language. Most of the people who are going to be most upset are the people who have taken the book that you know is the Bible and thought that it was the truth. They will look at the person they call their Lord and they will think he is the truth. And he was, but they didn't understand his words. Go into that book and take the words and tell them the true meaning. The Master Jesus said, I am the light of the world. That is true. But he did not mean he was the only light of the world. He was saying that he was in his oneness. He was living in the divine energy. Therefore, he was the light of the world. Everyone can do that, not just him. So you need to go into the book, speak the language that they understand from the book, and reteach the meanings of it so that they will truly understand that they are their own savior, that they do not have to look out to someone to forgive their sins. It is up to them to forgive themselves and ask forgiveness from the people that they have harmed, because Jesus is not walking around in the spirit world forgiving people that is all mythology. And therefore, it is important to reach the people on a level they'll understand. Because if you do not speak their language, they're going to be in such a state that they will not understand anything but the language that they know of. So you take their language, their symbols, their stories, and you make them understand the truth behind them and lead them slowly to understand that the God is within and that they can claim their own divinity and their own salvation. Do you understand?
Thank you, Carl, and all of you who came through to answer questions. We have no more questions. We appreciate your being here. Thank you so much.
Once again, it is a big, grand pleasure for me to be of assistance, to be here with the people who are providing the answers to your questions. For sometimes I'm not sure everyone realizes that I am not sitting here giving all the answers. I do occasionally, but I hand the microphone, if you want to use that word, over to a person who is much more equipped to answer the specific topic of what is being asked. So we are all very happy to be here and to assist you at this time, for we clearly understand that you are facing challenging times, and we are doing all that we can to help and to support you into walking into this new age. And this is why we are so happy that the teachings that are being presented are the next step in the evolution to the true understanding of God energy. And therefore, we are happy that this is occurring at this time. So that being said, we are going to withdraw. We leave you with our blessings, and we leave you with our love. And we tell you, as always, that we are just a thought away. Do not hesitate to go into your divine energy, to merge with us, and we will be there to communicate with you on a telepathic, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient way. Our peace be with you.